Okay, so welcome everybody. Thank you very much. This will be the last session in this room of the afternoon. As you all know, we are a very happy partner to our colleagues at Dynatrace. I think at CTG we're quite occupied with performance management. And as you've seen all the other parts of the software development lifecycle being touched upon today, quite clearly when we're talking about Dynatrace, this is going to be something, and performance is going to be something that touches on all parts, both in development, in testing, and in production. So I believe that we're very happy to welcome Klaus from Linz, who's going to give us some funny insights. Klaus, the floor is yours.
Thanks. Hi everyone. Who woke up this morning at 4 a.m.? Oh, there are 3 more people. That's awesome. So everybody's tired, right? You heard a lot of things, and at home I always have to make the proof that I'm actually working. So I want to get some excitement here right on this picture. Please come and join me. Wave with your hands. Make a little bit of party here to kick that whole thing off. Thank you. Thanks. Now I have finally a proof, because I have at home 2 kids. One 4 weeks old, keeps me busy. The other one, 2.5 years old, keeps me busy, and I therefore like to do nothing twice. I try to automate everything that I can. So this is kind of a paradigm shift. I've heard today some others talking about, automation is maybe. I'm really into automation. Whenever I'm doing things twice or 3 times, the same thing, I'm trying to automate things away. And that gives me then the time to climb mountains. Actually, that's really me there, this guy. It gives me the time to think about metrics. This is an unusual thing for Austrians, but thinking about metrics is important for me. And then I do risky stuff. Who has seen me riding the bike? That was last year at Perform. On main stage, they needed the brave Austrian guy to ride a bike on main stage, because no US person was allowed to do it. Because the guy who was in charge of the main stage just came there and said, like, no way you're riding a bike on this stage, we're not insured for that. It's like, no worries, I'm from Austria, that will be a work accident, no problem. But I'm not only riding a bike for our company, I think that's a little bit more reflecting what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure out what's next, what's the thing that actually drives you. And Joe, you made a big comment earlier out there. You said, you're innovating that fast. This is like amazing. It's like once people believe what you're doing, you're already like another mile ahead. And this is due to very passionate development team that mainly sits here in Europe, in Austria and Poland. Not a whole lot of people knew that, and I'm passionate about trying to figure out what's coming next. But in order to see what's coming next, you have to have kind of take a step back and see, why are we doing all of this? Dynatrace is big in monitoring. That's what probably everyone here in the room knows. And I always think about 4 core metrics, 4 core KPIs that monitoring has to provide. And the first one, I can see all over the place on the dashboards. And it's the upper left corner here. It's exactly that one. That's from Marriott. Went in there, Ops Center, dashboard. What is the most important metric? How many bookings are going through their online platform? That's the key metric. Nobody will react to anything unless business is a threat. That's the super most important metric to look at. Another metric, you would think is like easy to do, but always in new environments, cloud microservice environment, becoming more and more bigger challenge, availability. Every customer hates it to see whatever excuse we put out there, but unavailable systems are a big issue for customers. And you can waste a lot of money. Kia, Super Bowl 2 years ago, $12 million for the airtime, just for the airtime of the ad, not the production of the ad, just for the airtime. And guess what happened after this ad went on air? That's their availability curve of their website. $12 million, boom. Nobody could use the website for 1.5 hours, more or less. What's your availability? It's simple, but it's a really critical metric. Next, after a system is available for our customers, it's all about errors. We're making funny things, we're putting homers out there, not so funny JavaScript errors that we're seeing. Why am I talking about JavaScript errors? Who is monitoring JavaScript errors here? Yeah, maybe one person. JavaScript errors make a big difference. Left screen without, right screen with JavaScript error. If your customers can't select a product, can't transact like you would do, JavaScript errors can today have a huge impact. You have to monitor not only server-side errors, but also look what is going out there, okay? Yeah, watch your errors. And then, last but not least, you know, we are a performance company. Performance metrics. Customer came to me and said like, hey, Klaus, can you help us? Desktop 4.5 seconds, 15 seconds on the mobile phone. Like, okay, what's the reason? Single page applications. What do single page applications do to our regular metrics? They put them upside down. This is just a couple of W3C timings plus one that is visual complete. Smart developers can screw your metrics pretty easy. So be aware of what technology you're doing and which metrics you're looking at. Single page application, easiest way to get back in the comfort zone, that's what they tried to do, is management came up with a new contract saying, hey, now the response time that you have to hit is 3 seconds, not only on the desktop, but also on the mobile side, because they went through the Google machine that told them mobile is important, mobile friendliness is important, so let's add 3 seconds, and then the user is happy. The only person who was happy, or the people who were happy, were the developers and the operators, because in their contract it was about this here, 500 milliseconds. Whoa, a lot of room to slow down and still get my money, my compensation. Customer, nevertheless, had to wait for the whole screen to appear for 15 seconds. Still. 500 milliseconds, that's what the page looked like. Nothing on there that the user could use. You end up with a lot of unhappy users, and you heard me speaking a lot about users, because users are important, and I'm coming down to that point a little bit later. So, what's your performance KPIs? I said that's the basis. That's the 4 core metrics that you have to have a hold of. But it's getting a little bit difficult, because as nice as this cloud looks like, people are moving into the cloud. People are going into AWS, Google Cloud, Azure Cloud. Who is running a cloud initiative currently? Yeah, see? We are now maxing it out. The complexity is, going in a logarithmic way because we're following here Obelix. We're going against our monoliths, breaking them down into microservices. And yeah, unfortunately, in a lot of companies, monitoring still looks like this. We are graphing a little bit of CPU spikes or memory, and we're putting that on the dashboard and like, hey, this is awesome. Whenever there's a spike, I know exactly what is going on, right? Then I'm going there and do some log analytics, look at the errors, top errors, I'll look at them, try to fix them. Awesome. But actually, yeah, going there introduced complexity at a pace that this monitoring can't keep up anymore. How long is a microservice alive, a microservice container? Minute, 10 minutes, days, up to you. But what happens if it breaks? The developer throws it away and pushes in a new container. How can you reconfigure your monitoring to manage this new container now instead of the old one? New ID, maybe floating around on a different host. That's a big challenge because the environments are so dynamic. We changed the complexity of the monolith with deployment complexity. And yeah, talking about deployment complexity, yeah, for development we changed things, how we ship our stuff. We changed a lot. We worked on automating things using Ansible, Chef Puppets, integrating with Jenkins, deploy it in environments that are Dockerized, run it on very small, optimized operating systems, maybe somewhere in a public cloud or even in a private cloud. And that made a huge change because we have to understand our environments much better. We need to know how these components are interacting with each other. And because of introducing the microservices, anyone knows what the factor is if you have a monolith and change to microservices? How many more JVMs you have after going there? What the factor is? 25. So, think of that. You have today 20 JVMs, which is not a whole lot. 25 is 500 JVMs. And small environments, even today small environments, go like this. How can we react to that? I mean, no human person could tell you if one of these red dots has actually an impact. That's why we are going with monitoring into AI machine learning techniques. Knowing how things are working together, but also automatically baseline for you, automatically detect changes for you, because you cannot otherwise keep up with all the changes that your development is driving towards you. By the way, this system is healthy. These 30 services have zero impact on the end user. Yeah, how did we end up with that? Just a couple of problems that I've seen with customers out there. Document management system, going microservice from monolith to microservice. Good idea, document encryption. A third-party library was taken into a separate service. This service is consumed from exactly each and every other tier, and which led to the fact a lot of traffic on the network, a massive slowdown on the application, on the response time. So sometimes you should watch your granularity because sometimes your developers are going too far. Other thing, does it make sense to have a service that always calls the other service? Whenever I hit this service, I go over here. Again, all I introduce is network overhead, communication overhead between services. They are coming for free in the monolith, because that's where I'm just talking in the memory. now we might talk from one data center to the other data center. That's a lot of latency that I'm adding here. And yeah, this is not a waterfall, although it reminds everyone of a waterfall chart of a page, but actually this is a server-side call into a microservice system, where basically we see that most of these services are basically wrappers for then finally one service doing the work, which is not a good pattern because you have a lot of useless stuff going on. And then on top, each service that is relevant actually has to wait till the other service works. So nothing paralyzed there. Doesn't really help. I can keep this in a monolith and be fine with that. I'm even faster with that. And then we've heard talking about, during the keynote, during lunch, talking about testing. And then we have heard DevOps. There is in the other room a DevOps talk. But I want to touch base on DevOps as well. Because we introduced that all over the place, we can see DevOps initiatives. What does DevOps mean? We want to innovate faster, but we want to make sure that we are getting there with quality. Quality into production. We are running through CI, we are running CD to get our systems over into production, working together with business on that. And then we want to have also fast feedback, because this is something very, very important. It's not always like push into production, it's also about taking stuff out of production. And this is the fast feedback. Why are we doing it? Because we want to have happy users. We want to lower our costs, and in order to get there, we're doing unit tests. The unit test, I have to say, is not about does it work or not. It's about additional metrics. It can be turned easily into a quality test by adding monitoring there. I was asked earlier, how does Dynatrace help you in dev or in test? It's pretty easy. I'm getting performance signatures. Yeah, I can do load test and perf test. I do watch my new deployments. I can watch capability adoption. Are people actually using that stuff that I just have built? It's important feedback to get back, because then I can say like, hey, let's remove it. A lot of big systems exist out there because nobody knows anymore which parts are actually used and which parts can be removed. Yeah, giving feedback, updating tests, and giving the developers more time to innovate rather than doing bug fixing. Unfortunately, the latest DevOps report says we became much better on fast deployment, but unfortunately we forgot about the quality. So compared to the unicorns, we are quite a bit slower. So the unicorns are almost 100 times faster with mean time to repair than the average DevOps company. Yeah, I spoke about continuous performance testing and what else should we look at, and this is it. This is like, hey, the performance signature of the build from 16th of November looked like this, but now the next build says like really 50% increase in response time. Do I want to push that into production, yes or no? I would have a discussion with the developers saying like, hey, have you built there a massive new feature that's really taking up the time and so it makes sense? Or is it just a stupid bug that needs repair? But I need to have a confidence to deliver good quality into production. Otherwise, you're just joining all the others that deliver bad quality into prod. And last but not least, it's about silos. DevOps, what's the main mantra of DevOps? Breaking silos, right? That's why we're doing it. We want to have dev, test, operations working together in a DevOps pipeline. I'm telling you, DevOps introduces pipelines. Silos. Introduces silos. It's a big, big problem. For whom is it a big problem? I have 10 more minutes. Oh, that's good. Wonderful. For whom do we introduce with DevOps problems? If we follow the DevOps rules, we have problems when talking to business. It's about, is it a 6 or a 9? That's the issue. When talking about DevOps, a lot of people forget about there is a lot of other jobs in the company. They have a completely different picture about what the software should deliver. We've seen this short video, and I like the video, although the 7 red lines are a little bit too easy from my perspective at least. And I want to take you through a little journey on airline industry. I'm traveling a lot, that's why I might like the airline industry a lot, but they're more complex than anyone else in the world. They are doing really fancy stuff. And their first paradigm is customer safety. Everything an airline does is about the safetiness of the passenger. But then, number 2 is about... Sorry?
Profits?
No. Yeah, kind of. But it's about avoiding costs, actually. You know what it is? It's baggage. It's already number 2 on the list. Lost baggage is causing them a lot of costs. So they hate it even more than we do. Our baggage doesn't arrive. And then it's about delays. An airplane not getting off the ground costs thousands in minutes. And we've seen Delta Airlines last year in summer. That outage of more than a day costed billions. And yeah, why is that? Because the systems are complex, and I want to take here the end consumer perspective. KLM, you can use your smartwatch app from KLM, you can take the mobile phone, the tablet, you can leverage the kiosks, a lot of digital touch points that you can use. And if you take a look at what you're doing during a journey while you're flying somewhere, I actually take care about their platinum customers a little bit more than the rest, but yeah, because you're spending a lot of money with them. With each and every stage, you're touching digital systems, core systems of an airline. When you book, you might use Alexa or your mobile phone or your desktop, laptop, whatever. Then you might want to check in purpose. You go to the kiosk, or you really speak to the person at the check-in counter. And the problem with this is, this journey view is not reflected in IT. In IT, we are delivering via DevOps services. DevOps promotes, hey, pick the best tool, pick the best technology for you to deliver a service in the highest quality as fast as possible into production, because we need to transform our companies, because we need to be faster than the competition with time to market. That's why we end up with having small teams, pizza box teams, right? Deciding which programming language they use, how often they release, having their own pipeline where they're running through. Yeah, and maybe even picking their own monitoring solution. And then from a business perspective, following thing happen. Max Platinum cannot check in and calls the call center. Call center agent has to first ask, which digital touch points are you trying to use? Are you going to kiosk? Are you talking to a person at the counter? Mobile app? What is it? Because depending on that, he might start with triage, saying like, hey, yep, it's service down here, service up here, different pipelines, delivering data into different tools. And yeah, this is just one question that is hard to answer, but there are more easier ones, but they are even harder today. Are we actually making money? And remember, we have to answer these questions. We have to take a look at business availability, errors, and performance in order to deliver for our customers. Doing that for all digital touchpoints, some people might succeed in delivering it per touchpoint, but that creates silos. Others are even in a worse situation. They're getting business results from here, some tracking for the other solutions, then maybe ending up with having the same metric in 2 or 3 different solutions, and then you're sitting there having these nice conversations. Which metric is actually the right one? Which result is the right one? Have you ever been in one of these web analytics sessions discussing which solution actually out of the 10 that are built into the website is delivering the correct value? Yep. That's what you're ending up with. And this is why monitoring had to change and to transform. Monitoring today, first of all, needs to look at the endpoint. We're not producing IT systems for ourselves. We're producing it for our customers, and we have to monitor all these digital touchpoints, plus their backend systems. And we have to try to come up with this single view, come up with a consistent, unique view on our customers. It's easy to put it on a slide. It's super hard in reality. A lot of politics, a lot of people discussing, hey, you are not allowed to see how many people are using my app or we have on the website. This is like a lot of politics. But this is a big, big issue for all companies, for our bosses' bosses sometimes. Because they keep us and prevent us from being innovative. This is something we at Dynatrace are living ourselves. We try to really get rid of all these silos and have these views. Yeah, because only if you're breaking down these silos and having a consistent data set, then you can really do actually biz DevOps, where you have collaboration between developers, the operators, and business on a consistent data set. If you're not getting there, you will have big, big troubles, and you will have discussions. You will have fights between the developer and the tester that sees the tester as his enemy, and the operator says like, I don't care, I don't trust you as a tester, I don't trust you as a developer at all, and I don't automate because I'm doing this stuff for 40 years now. Because if not everybody wants to go and collaborate. Yep, we have seen what happened to Kodak and other companies that didn't manage to get through digital transformation processes. Because if we are not doing it, other companies will go through. Yeah, that's why we have to do monitoring a little bit differently.
Super. So, Thank you very much. This guy's been awake since 4 in the morning, so we need some very spicy questions to avoid that he's gonna fall asleep again. Anybody? Anything you want to know? Any big secrets you want to uncover? Everything's really clear. You've also fallen asleep as well.
Everybody's tired.
Everybody's tired. Okay. Well, in that case, thank you very much, Klaus.
You're welcome.
I'll invite you all to go to the other room in a couple of minutes when we have the keynote taking place. And for sure, Klaus and the colleagues will be available at the booth for further questions. All right? Thank you very much.